This changes everything. Aaron Glenn is interviewing this morning with the goal to not leave the building, as many Jets players behind the scenes have expressed excitement at the potential of Aaron Glenn being the next head coach for the New York Jets. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video, only 19.9% of viewers are subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please take 1 second. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps out me and Chris a ton when we're making these videos for you guys and doing all these updates. So hopping right into the video. Per NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Jets are hosting Glenn for a second interview on Tuesday, and the goal is to keep him from leaving the building. So this, that was a little weird the way I said it. The goal is to keep him from leaving the building, which means they want to sign him today. They want to interview him and sign him right after. Yesterday, we saw Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, go to the Bears, interview in person, and immediately sign. The goal is to do the exact same thing with Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn has been rumored to be the favorite head coach of the New York Jets, picked out by Woody Johnson. And we have followed the crumb trail here on Jets Digest. And we have told you guys Aaron Glenn for, I think, over a month at this point. We've been saying Aaron Glenn is by far the most likely New York Jets head coach when it comes to the connections. He was a first-round pick for the New York Jets back in the 90s. He earned first-team All-Pro honors playing for the New York Jets. Our only problem with him was going to be he has also played for the Saints, and he played really well for the Saints, and he is interested in the Saints as well. But he came out and told us that the New York Jets were his first pick should he get offered by the New York Jets. All that needs to happen is he needs to nail the interview today, which shouldn't be a problem because he's a great head coaching candidate and a great guy. So he got to nail the interview with Woody Johnson today and then sign the contract. Going back to our report here, there are some particulars that need to be worked out, and the deal isn't done, but Glenn and the Jets can iron those out on Tuesday. The particulars are just contract stuff, just how many years is it going to be? How much money is he going to get? Where are the guarantees going to be? Is he going to, does he going to have a no trade clause? Just stuff like that. Let Aaron Glenn handle it. That's not going to be a problem. He's going to get all that stuff handled out. That's just negotiating stuff. Finishing off this report here. According to, actually, you know what? I got something better than that. Where do I have it? Right here. Zach Rosenblatt. Something to note. There are many Jets players who have privately expressed excitement at the prospect of Aaron Glenn being their head coach. If/when he's hired, it will be received well in the locker room. This is great news because not only do the fans want Aaron Glenn as the head coach and the front office want Aaron Glenn as the head coach, the players want it too. That's very important when it comes to a culture-building head coach like Aaron Glenn. It's a lot easier to put your culture on the locker room when the players like you. If you're going to put your culture on the team, the players have to respect you first. And it certainly looks like the players will be respecting him. They have been talking behind the scenes about him being the head coach. This is getting more exciting, honestly, by the day. We talk about here on Jets Digest how Aaron Glenn is the best head coaching candidate left. We thought it was Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and Mike Vrabel. Those were the top three. Two of those three are already signed to teams. Mike Vrabel's a Patriot. Ben Johnson's a Bear. We got to go get the last guy. We talk about how we need a culture builder, and Aaron Glenn absolutely is that culture builder. If you look at clips from the Detroit Lions, media team, you hear the way he talks to the team. He's a man who garners respect. He's a leader in the locker room or in the film room or in those, coaching conference halls. I don't know what to call them. You know what I'm talking about. It's where they give the speeches at the practice facility. He's great for that. The players respect him. The players like him. Also very important. The players like him. We need a culture builder because we have a roster that needs to be meshed together by a head coach. If the players want this head coach, they're going to be more likely to mesh together and come together and play better under that head coach. Robert Saleh kind of let mistakes slide when he was the head coach of the New York Jets, but that's not going to happen anymore. Aaron Glenn, he's not going to be in your face like that interim head coach for the Saints is, or Brian Flores yelling at guys if they make a mistake. But when you make a mistake under Aaron Glenn, he's going to let you know, and he's going to make sure that mistake is corrected and not repeated in the future. This is going to be huge because the New York Jets, this year, it just felt like they made the same mistakes over and over and over again, and it felt like players were taking turns making a small mistake here, a small mistake there. It wasn't one mistake. Like, we didn't have a ton of back-breaking plays. We just had a ton of a missed tackle on third down here, a drop pass on third down when we're on offense there. But Aaron Glenn is going to get these little mistakes and phase them out because he's going to make players take accountability for their actions. If a player drops a pass in a big game on Sunday, he's going to be back on Monday hitting the jugs machine, making sure he does not replicate that mistake in practice and make sure he does not replicate that mistake in the next game. Aaron Glenn is going to be able to bring this team together because that's just the kind of person he is. And speaking of other people who are being interviewed on this morning, Lance Newmark, the assistant GM for the Washington Commanders, also is getting a second interview with the New York Jets. He's the only GM candidate who got a second interview with the team. Just like Aaron Glenn was the only candidate who was the only head coaching candidate who got a second interview, Lance Newmark is the only GM candidate who got a second interview with the team. He is someone who has 26 years of experience is the word I'm looking for, experience with the Detroit Lions. So he's also familiar with Aaron Glenn and Newmark. Should Newmark be hired, put him in the same bucket. He is getting an interview today. They want to hire him immediately, and they want to grab this Lions pairing and push them into the future as the faces of the New York Jets franchise. That's super exciting because we talk about how they turned around that Lions franchise. They were the laughingstocks. They were at the bottom of the league for a really long time, but now they're on top. They're doing really, really well for themselves. So also, look at what he did just this year. He's only had 1 year in the Commanders organization, but look at the year that they had. They brought in Jaden Daniels, franchise quarterback. They nailed the head coaching hire with Dan Quinn, and they nailed the offensive coordinator hiring with Cliff Kingsbury. So that franchise looks amazing for the future. Who would have thought that was going to work? Their offense almost never punts. Their running back is worse than ours. They have Terry McLaurin, who's good, but not as good as Garrett Wilson. Their team is nowhere close. Their roster, not their team. Their team is better than the Jets. Their roster is nowhere near as good as what we have. What we can put on the turf is potentially could be so much stronger than what the Commanders have. And the Commanders are in the NFC Championship game right now, potentially going to the Super Bowl. This New York Jets team with the right coaching and the right GM setting it up can absolutely make crazy noise in the NFL next year. Newmark, he's got to make sure he's got to help Aaron Glenn get these assistant coaches right. Right now, I'm blanking on the name of him, but the pass game coordinator is who I expect Aaron Glenn to name as his head coach, as his offensive coordinator. That's what we saw with the Falcons. Last year, they hired a defensive head coach from the Rams, Raheem Morris, and he brought the pass game coordinator of the 2023 LA Rams, brought him into the 2024 Atlanta Falcons to be the offensive coordinator. We can, as of this moment, January 21st, we can expect Aaron Glenn to do something the same like that because his offensive coordinator, there have been no names leaked on who it's going to be, but looking at history, that's what you would expect it to be. That's where you would expect him to find his coordinator from that Detroit Lions organization. Very, very powerful offense. There are smart offensive minds in that building. It's not just Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn has to find the next guy who can be that offensive guru, who can set our offense up for the future, whether it's Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, Justin Fields playing quarterback, or something else in the future as well. But that's what we got today, guys. I'm so excited. I really think Aaron Glenn's going to get hired today, and I'm so excited for it. So if you guys are also excited and you stuck around this long in the video, thank you guys. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already. And as always, go Jets.